Hello, I'm here to talk to people, talk to you about lease purchasing, more specifically about superego. I am currently a lease purchase operator for superego. I am not going to try to sell you on superego, tell you it's the best place to be. I'm not going to discourage you from superego and tell you it's the worst place to be. What I'm going to tell you is to educate yourself and find out for yourself, and stop listening to all these videos that are being put out by all these entitled people who refuse to take responsibility for their own actions. Now, right away, people are going to want to criticize me, saying that I'm pointing fingers, that I'm trying to talk bad about people without knowing the situation. Okay? Before I came to superego, I read a lot of reviews. I watched a lot of videos. And a lot of the stuff that I saw, I realized was BS as I was watching it. Okay? I'll give you some examples. I saw a video where a guy was complaining that superego took his truck without allowing him to get his stuff out of his truck. Okay? Then as he went further, he went into the details. Superego is a lease purchase company. It is a company where you sign a contract. With that contract, you have certain obligations. Pay your bill. He decided that this contract was not for him. Now, unlike a lot of leasing companies, superego has the availability to allow you to walk away from your contract with no obligation. That means even though you signed the contract, even though you agreed to the contract, they're saying, look, if you're saying it's not for you, walk away, no harm, no foul. No money owed. We're not going to come after you. We're not going to bill you, harass you, sue you. You don't want it? Cool, walk away. But give us our equipment back. If you don't give us our equipment back, then we're going to come get our equipment because it is our equipment. So this person, I'm not going to use no names. I'm not going to name call, badmouth, whatever. This person chose to call superego and tell superego, hey, this is not for me. Now he's complaining because they picked up his truck before he could get his stuff out of it. Now let's think about that. They didn't know he was going to cancel his contract. He knew. He called them to say that he was canceling his contract. So who's the butthead here? The company for going to get their equipment? Or the dummy who didn't take his stuff out of the truck before he called to cancel the contract? I mean, let's be honest. Let's be real. He called them. They did what they're supposed to do. They came and got their stuff. They came and got their equipment. If you lease a car from Toyota and you tell Toyota, I don't want my car no more, what are they going to do? Especially if you're not responsible enough to take the car to the dealership or to the bank to return it. You're calling them on the phone and saying, I don't want this car no more, come get it. What they gonna do? They gonna come get it. They gonna knock on your door and say, oh, excuse me, you left your hairbrush and your curlers in your car? No, they gonna send a tow truck, they gonna hook up the vehicle, and they gonna drive off with it. That's what they did. But they the asshole because you didn't get your equipment, you didn't get your stuff out of the truck first. No, you a dummy. Because before you made that phone call, you should have unloaded your truck. Bottom line. I saw another video where a guy was complaining that he was promised to make at least $1,500 to $2,000 a week. However, Super Ego took their money before he got his money. Okay. You signed a contract, a lease contract, stating that you were going to pay X amount of dollars a week. Right? The money goes through Super Ego. That's how they guarantee their payment. Right? So, if you only do one job a week that pays $1,500, they're going to take their truck payment first. So at this point, who's the dummy? Again, the guy that only worked for $1,500 worth of value, knowing that he had to make a payment of, I can only suppose, is $1,500 because he said he didn't get any money back. I find that hard to believe because, again, I am a lease purchaser in Super Ego. I have a 2023 Kenworth and my payment ain't $1,500 a week. But this is what he said. His payment is $1,500 a week. I know that for Super Ego, I've done jobs at low value because there was a certain place I wanted to get to where I was only making $1 a mile. So 700-mile trip, paid $700. I've also done trips that paid over $2 a mile. For example, I just did one 2,100 miles that paid $4,800. If I choose to take a trip that only pays $1 a mile, then I gotta be responsible for the fact that I chose to do a trip for $1 a mile. The reason why I did it, I had someplace I was trying to go. If you want to go there, you take the hit. You can't blame Super Ego for that. That was your choice. If your dumbass want to go down to Florida and hang out at Miami Beach, knowing there ain't no good paying jobs coming out of Florida, you can't blame the company for that. That's your stupidity. I saw another one where a guy said that he got a truck from Super Ego for his driver. He said his driver couldn't make no money at it, so he returned the truck. Later, he decided to get a truck for himself through Super Ego, and he couldn't make no money at it. Again, I'm not shining for Super Ego. I'm not throwing a baseball bat at Super Ego either. I'm just listening to the comments. So, you are so big in trucking that you have drivers, but you are going to a lease purchase company to get a truck for your driver. So you're responsible for your driver, right? So, and you making sure your driver had work was so bad that you had to turn in the truck that your driver had, but now you're going to go back to the same place where you could not guarantee the money for your driver to go drive for yourself and turn around and complain that you didn't make no money? Come on, man. What's wrong with that picture? What's wrong with that picture? I mean, that damn near writes its own story. That tells its own story. That's like saying that you went to the bank, you sent somebody to the bank and they couldn't get no money out of your account, even though you gave them a debit card and the password and everything. And now you gonna go to the bank and still bitch because you can't get money out your account. Well, you was already told your account had no money. But you're gonna keep going back anyway? And now you're gonna blame the bank because your account ain't got no money? Come on, man. Really? Are you being serious right now? Saw another video. This man says he has over 20 years in trucking. And it's such a terrible company that he couldn't make no money. You've been trucking for over 20 years and you're looking for a job? Over 20 years. You've been trucking for over 20 years and you're unemployed? Super Ego ain't been around for 20 years. So my question at this point is how have you been driving a truck since before COVID, since before DOT regulations, since before all the stuff that we dealing with in today's society and the trucking business, and you are still looking for a job? You gonna blame Super Ego for all your 20 years of not being employed? Of not being able to keep a job? Really? There is only one complaint that I can say that I've heard that is valid. And that is that new drivers coming to Super Ego say that the trucks are not in the best of shape. That's true. That's true. They used to be. They used to be all brand new trucks. They used to be. But like a lot of opportunities where people have the advantage to jump on there and get somewhere with it, a lot of people abused it. While I was waiting to get my truck, I had the opportunity to make some money while I was at the office. How I made money was driving trucks back and forth to the body shop, picking up abandoned trucks, bringing them back to the terminal, etc. You should see the condition that some of these people leave these trucks in. Can't blame Super Ego for that. If you are filthy, I mean, come on. You in a truck, you on the road. This is your mobile home. This is, if you trucking, this is where you spending over 75% of your time is right here in this truck. And you can't keep it clean? I got in some trucks that had roaches. I got in some trucks that food all over the place, looked like syrup and ketchup done spilled over the place, got bottles of urine all over the place, I guarantee you, nobody in that Super Eagle office got in that truck and messed it up. But I know at that terminal, they have two teams. A team responsible for cleaning the insides of the truck and a team responsible for cleaning the outsides of the truck. And they got work 24 hours a day. They got work cleaning these trucks out. I've been to their body shop. They got a body shop where they're repairing trucks. They got a backyard full of trucks that people have crashed. So, if you a company and you've got all these trucks that have been internally trashed, that have been crashed left and right, that people refuse to take care of, when new drivers come in, you're going to keep giving them new trucks. Would that be a smart investment? I'm just being real. Again, I'm not telling you Super Eagle is the best company out there. I ain't trying to convince you it's the worst company out there. I'm just talking about situations and reality. That's all I'm talking about. Situations and reality. If it is your company, if you got billions of dollars on the line, are you going to keep giving out brand new trucks to brand new drivers so they can crash them and trash them? Are you? The obvious answer to that is hell no. That's the only answer they could be. Hell no. Now, for those who want new trucks, oh yeah, they got a program for you. You could walk in the door with your $5,000 cash and put it down. If you're willing to put $5,000 down to get a new truck, chances are you're going to take care of your truck. Or you could drive the Super Eagle for 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. Prove to them that you're going to take care of your truck and you're not going to be crashing left and right. And they'll switch your truck out for you. Even though you under that lease contract, you can go in there, but after dealing with your dispatcher, your fleet manager, and they'll get you a new truck. At least a truck in better condition than the one you have. But now you've proven yourself that you're going to take care of it. Again, if it's your company, somebody's willing to walk in and they're saying, look, I got $5K. I'm taking out of my pocket. I want a good truck. I want a new truck. They willing to spend their money. People take care of their money. Or you got a driver who's been with you for a year, 2 years, and his truck's been on the up and up all the way across the board, and he ain't got no accidents. Look, I done proved to you that I'm going to take care of my stuff. Now you're not a new driver. Now you're not unknown. So yeah, you can get a newer truck. Walking in the door, they don't know you. They don't know you. They're not going to give you a brand new truck just so they can have another truck to be trashed and crashed. That's the way it is. Saw another video. Guy said he told Super Eagle that he was going on a vacation for 2 weeks. And Super Eagle kept his last check. You're still responsible for your truck payment, right? If you go to a dealership and you buy a truck, and you call that dealership, Kenworth, Freightliner, Volvo, Peterbilt, whoever you bought that truck from, and you tell them, I'm going on vacation for a month, I ain't gonna work, so therefore I'm not gonna have a truck payment this month. Y'all are good with that, right? What they gonna tell you? When you get back from your trip, your truck might not be there. That's what they're going to tell you. They go, oh, okay. So you telling us you're not going to make the payment? Got it. You just told Super Ego you're not going to work for 2 weeks. They did you a favor. They secured your payment for you. So, again, I look at lease purchasing like I look at Uber. People who first started Uber was the greatest company in the world. They even gave you a car if you didn't have one. You had to pay your weekly bill. You had to get out there and drive. You had to get out there and work. There are people who worked Uber, who worked their way up and started their own limo business. There are people who didn't want to do the limo business, so they started investing in other cars and leasing them out, renting them out to other drivers. There are people who went and started buying property and invested money off of Uber. And then there were people, who say they can't make no money with Uber. They ought to be an employee. Unfortunately, those are the ones that you hear the loudest. Those are the ones who speak up the most. Out there in California, they had that AB5, trying to make everybody an employee. You notice it didn't pass? That's because the silent majority, the silent group that you don't hear complaining every day, are making money. They're not out here banging on tambourines and banging on drums to make all the noise they can, because they making their money. The biggest scam in the world. Come to my seminar. I'm going to show you how to make millions. If you pay my entrance fee, buy my book, and pay for my program. You know how they making their millions? You go into their seminar, buying that ticket, buying that program, buying that book. If you figure out a way to make $1 million, you're going to tell somebody else how to get your money? Hell no. Because now you're trying to create competition for yourself. People who are making money don't make noise. They keep that shit to themselves. All them people out there, oh, I can't make no money. But yet, what are they doing? I refuse to do rides at these hours. I refuse to take this ride because it don't pay enough. I refuse. Somebody out there doing it quietly, making their money. I use Uber as a reference because these lease purchase programs, they basically the same program. They provide you the vehicle. They provide you the jobs. All you got to do is put forth the effort. Now, if you're going to sit there, oh, I don't want to go over here because it's cold. I don't want to go over here because it's raining. I want to be able to go home 4 days a week, every week. I want to be... Don't complain because you ain't making no money. If you go be a company driver somewhere and you are over the road, what do they tell you? 2 to 3 days a month you can be at home, but I can't guarantee you when. 2 to 3 days a month. I can get you home, but I can't tell you when it's going to be. If you over the road, they don't say they can get you home every week. They don't say you're going to be home 2 or 3 days a week. 2 or 3 days a month I can get you home. But I can't guarantee you when. So now you're in a lease purchase program. You working for yourself. And you're home every week. And you ain't making no money. That problem writes itself. Literally, it writes itself. But you blaming the company for your lack of production. Before I came here, I read all the reviews. I heard all the videos. I watched all the innocent, entitled people telling their stories about how terrible it is. Just like you made your review, you saw everybody else with the reviews. And as a human being, who has the right to do what they choose to do, you still made the choice to go work with this company. Just so you could be one more person to say this company doesn't work. This company has over 3,000, almost 4,000 trucks on the road. Every day of the week. You do not see 3,000, almost 4,000 videos popping up every day of the week. People who are making their money keeping their mouth shut. Before I came here, I ran into a guy driving for Super Ego. This guy admittedly was not the smartest person in the world. I asked him, I said, are you doing your own booking? He said, I have the option, but I don't know how to do that. They do the bookings for me. All I got to do is drive. And yeah, he said, I average $1,500, $2,000 a week. That's what I average. He said, this week, I ain't make that much money. Well, I made the money, but I had to pay for the repairs on my vehicle. So they deducted that from my check, so I didn't have that much. I had that much before they deducted it. But they paid for the repairs on my vehicle, so I had to pay them back. That's another thing. People complaining about they got to pay for their vehicle. It is a lease purchase. It's not a rental. You making payments to buy your own vehicle. When you go to a dealership to buy a vehicle, motorcycle, car, pickup truck, SUV, the likes, and your car break down, you get a flat tire, whatever. If it's covered under warranty, where do you go? Back to the dealership. If it's not covered under warranty, where do you go? To the mechanic shop. Who pays the bill? Now, do you have somebody that pops up, hey, I'm your fairy godmother, your fairy godfather. I'm going to pay the bill for you, and you could just pay me back. I know you ain't got that much on you to replace that, so I'm going to pay the bill for you, and you could just get me back. No, right? But the company does. That terrible company will fix your truck. That company that you can't make no money with, that don't care about their drivers, that terrible company, they will pay the bill to fix your truck. Your truck. All you got to do is pay them back. And they don't take all the money out at once. They let you make payments. That terrible company. They're going to dictate what the payments are going to be. It's their money. But because of this terrible company, you still able to drive and make money. I've said it 100 times if I said it once. It's high time all this entitled stuff, all this the world revolves around me stuff, all this is somebody else's fault stuff comes to a stop. Stop blaming other people for your mistakes. The biggest difference between a lease purchase company and working for a company is that a lease purchase company, you do not have somebody standing over your shoulder saying it is time for you to wake up. You have to get on the road. You have to go to work. If you don't start at this time, you are not going to make it on time. You need to get going. You do not have somebody standing at truck stop saying, you can't stop here. You need to keep going. You don't have it. You got to be able to do it yourself. And if you are not a self-motivated person, if you cannot get out there with the thought of mind to say, I need to go to work, I need to get this done, if you do not have that about you, 100%, this is not the company for you. You need to go to one of them companies that's going to call you every 10 minutes and ask you what you're doing. You would be doing yourself a favor by going to one of these companies that'll call you every 10 minutes and ask you what the hell you're doing. Because you don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the motivation, you don't have the ability to get out there on your own and do it. When I was a company driver, one thing they went over in every meeting without fail, every single meeting, people not making deliveries on time because they're spending all their time stopping every 4 hours at a truck stop. Stopping every 4 hours at a truck stop. I stopped for my 30-minute break. I stopped when I got a number 2. I stop when I get to my delivery. I stop when I run out of my clock. Other than that, urinal right here. Got my microwave, got my food, got my stuff. I set myself up and I drive. I don't stop. Typically, I am at my deliveries a day, 2 days early. I don't stop. I also don't complain about not making money. See the correlation? If my dispatcher tells me I got a load here going to Timbuktu. It's paying $2.58 a mile. Send me the job. I don't care where it's going. It's a job. It's not a vacation. I ain't going sightseeing. I'm not hoping to see the world's biggest ball of yarn. It's a job. Technically, I'm working for myself, but I'm dependent on the dispatcher to make me money. So if the dispatcher says this is where you got to go to make money, guess what? That's where I'm going. I'm not going to tell them, nah, look, they got spring break this week. I want to go down to Miami Beach. I want to hang out and see the girls. No. If he say, this is what I got that's making money, this is where you got to go, boom. My truck's in gear. I'm gone. It's a job. Whether you're working for yourself, you're working for somebody else, it's a job. It's not vacation, it's not sightseeing. One thing people ask me all the time, to find out once I'm trucking, they ask me, well, did you get to see this? Did you get to see that? No, I ain't get to see shit but a road. I'm working. But how is it you could drive so long? Well, you go to work and put in 8 hours a day, right? A lot of times you get asked to put in an hour or two overtime, right? At your job. You're doing 10, 12 hours a day anyway, right? Ain't no different. Except you inside four walls and my scenery changes every day. It's a job. Oh, one of the other complaints I hear about, they force you to drive. Come on now. Ain't nobody calling me, waking my ass up saying, get on the road. Nobody. But let's be honest, you signed a contract saying you're going to make that payment every week, right? If you busy sitting at home eating Doritos and watching the local TV show, you making any money? You're going to make your truck payment. So yeah, you're going to get a phone call. We can see you haven't made any money yet and you have an obligation. But they gonna make you drive? No, they're not gonna make you drive. Ain't nobody standing over you with a baseball bat saying get in that truck. But what they will do is saying you falling too far back on your payments, so we gonna come pick up your truck. Whose fault is that? And they gonna tell you we know exactly where to come get it at, because you've been sitting there for the past 2-3 weeks rather than getting on the road and driving. Whose fault is that? According to the people in those situations, it's that terrible company. That terrible company came and got my truck. That terrible company didn't do this and didn't do that. When the reality is, that dummy sitting on the couch eating Doritos and watching the TV show didn't go to work. Oh, well, you can't expect me to be on the road all the time. Well, then you in the wrong business. Bottom line. Anyway, I think I've said enough about this. I just want to put out there, you know, there's a lot of negative press about lease companies in general. There's a lot of bad press about lease companies in general. And I can't speak for all of them because I ain't worked for all of them. I can speak for the one that I'm with. And I can't speak to every situation. I can only speak to my situation. Which is why I'm saying I'm not promoting them, because this ain't for everybody. I'm not banging on them. because it works for me. But at some point, people, we got to stop being so quick to make noise. We got to stop being so quick to jump on a bandwagon. We got to stop being so quick to add to the noise. We got to start using our common sense. We got to start taking responsibility. And we got to start being accountable. Everything ain't somebody else's fault. Most things start and end with you. And one very, very, very real reality. If you work in some place you don't want to be, go work somewhere else. That's what people used to do. If you was working at a job where you wasn't happy, you went and worked somewhere else. You found another job. You waited till you found the other job to quit the job you were at. But you didn't hold a press conference and say this company sucks. You might have griped to your people who are in your inner circle, people who were close to you, people who got to deal with your attitude because you cranky all the time. So you had to explain to them what was going on so they understood why you was cranky all the time. But other than that, you look for another job. Once you found your other job, you said, hold on, I'm over here right now. I got to give them a week, 2 weeks notice. You go give them that week, 2 weeks notice, and then you go work somewhere else. Ain't no point in doing videos. That's not going to get your job back. That company made their millions on the system they got. That system didn't work for you. It's working for a lot of other people. They're not going to change it because you start banging on drums and tambourines and making all kinds of noise. Ain't nobody in Congress going to come down and say, oh, that poor person, we're going to change laws. Come on now. All you doing is making noise. Looking for attention. Looking for sympathy. Looking for somebody to jump on your bandwagon for your pity party. Stop it. If it ain't working for you, go work somewhere else. That goes for lease purchase. That goes for these gig type jobs like Uber, stuff like that. If it's not working for you, go do something else. It's that simple. Stop whining and crying. Go do something else. Anyway, that's all I got to say about this. Have a blessed day and good luck to you.